jail when they came up and was reading this little paper on me. I think all that came as a result of what we were saying about the fighting and so forth came about because he said I didn't obey my husband. So I guess that's what they were alluding to. I really don't know what it was about. So then I asked him, are you saying, that I'm supposed to obey my husband no matter how he treats me? So then he says, well, anyway, we are putting you out of the nation. And then I said, where are we going? Because I thought at the time that I had got sort of confused. And I thought at the time he was talking about me and my husband. And I wanted to know where they was going to take us to because I wasn't about to get in the nation truck. Because I didn't trust them people behind the broom straw. And so he said, you got to pack your things and get out right now. And then it dawned on me at that split second that he was talking about me. And
where was your husband at?
He was sitting there.
He was sitting right there.
Sitting right there with them, because I guess they had convinced him. I don't know if it was they're convincing him or he convincing himself. But I'm saying I guess they convinced him. The leader, Ben-Ami, because everything is basically come from him. You know what I'm saying? Had he not encouraged that type of thing, most likely it never would have happened. You see, so I'm assuming that all this encouragement and stuff, from what I could see and what I could understand what went down, came from Ben-Ami and all the other men that, put their tooth in, So, so then I got up to get my things, and that's when I got angry with my husband.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, you call yourself a man. I said, what kind of man are you to bring me over here and go against me for these guys? I said, you don't even know nothing about these men. I say, you, I said, you went against me,
Okay.
with these men.
Okay.
And I say, you don't know anything about these guys. And I say, you stopped me from going to school, and I stopped going to school as a result of trying to come over here with you. I said, what kind of man are you to do something like this? So Asa said, well, you sit over there and I'll see. So he was sitting on this side, and when we jumped up, and
so he didn't respond to that.
He didn't respond. He looked up, he was grinning. No, he sat on this side of the room. He laid back like this, and he started grinning. So I turned around and looked at him like this. I said, oh, it's funny to you now, huh? I said, well, go on and laugh. I said, but I bet you won't be laughing in the end. So Asa told us that, well, you pick up her things now, see, pick up her bags and put them on the outside. And I looked at him, my husband is 6'3". Well, he was 6'3". And I looked up at him and I said, you better not put your hands on nothing of mine, and I mean it. And I had prepared myself at that time that if they was going to kill me or do something to me, I had prepared myself at that time that if I was going to die, somebody's going to go with me, whoever got in my way. That's how I felt about it at that time. So so my husband, he just dropped his hand like that, down to the side. So I took my bags and I went outside. And then they told me I couldn't leave them in the hallway. I had to pick up all them bags and take them down the stairs like I was, like I was a 400-pound man or something. And so I asked them to give me time to take them down the stairs. No, you got to get them out right now. So I said, well, okay, I'll do the best I can, So I was dragging the things down the stairs. And then I saw my father-in-law sit down in the square. Sit down in the square with some more men. Another man, we call him, I think his name is Aki Azea. But we call him Bump on the Nose because he had a big mole sitting on the end of his nose. So we used to call him Bump on the Nose. And he was sitting out there whittling a piece of wood. And my father-in-law was sitting in the square. And when he saw me drag my things out, he dropped his head. By the time I got back upstairs to get the rest of the stuff, he was gone. So I'm assuming he knew what went down, but he knew that he couldn't stand up for me, and I wasn't looking for him to stand up for me. So then, by this time, I had called one of the outcasts. I went round the back to see if I could find someone. I called one of the outcasts. I saw Alvon on the porch, and I started calling out to him. And he was looking at me all crazy, because he was saying, he was telling me later on, he was saying, Sister Bathsheba, I didn't know what was wrong with you. So you was there calling me, and you knew we was outcasts, and you knew we weren't supposed to be talking to each other, But I was calling him to tell him to come and help me, And so by me kept calling them, then that's when all of them, all the outcasts, outcasts, you know, ones I had made friends with, because they had you, again, like I said, you couldn't talk to nobody, you know, but there was ways and means that I had to make friends with people. Like if they would see me coming and I wasn't supposed to talk to them or speak to them, you know, out in the public where anybody could see me, I would bow my head like this. You know, when I see them coming, I bow my head, you know. So then Avon and Sister Natanya, they came running around to the back where I was. They said, "What is wrong with you, Sister Bathsheba? What is wrong with you?" Like that, you know. So I told them, I said, "Well, they put me out, you know, out in the streets like that, you know." Well, I didn't really care about them putting me out in the streets because I felt like it wasn't nothing that they was putting me out of in the first place. But the fact that they came between me and my husband at the time really, really devastated me, you know. I mean, I thought that at the time, I thought my head had turned around on my neck. You know, I mean, I was just that, I almost went into a shock. You know, it had traumatized me so that at the time, I thought that I was pregnant. And it traumatized me so my period came straight down, just like a bucket of water. And so I went to, after we had got out, after Outcast helped me get my bags, I took them over to Sister Avon's mother's house. I asked one of the young sisters to go with me to the post office so I could write my parents a letter to let them know that I was leaving Demona, going to Beersheba, so I could, you know, so I could get myself together. So in the meantime, we went to the post office and we did this. We sent an airmail special delivery to my parents to let them know that they had put me out in the streets and not to look for me there. You know, by this time, my parents, my mother-in-law had called long distance back in the States and had upset at my parents because she had told them they were going to take me to Jericho to kill me, which we were supposed to go to Jericho. But something happened. I don't know what happened, and we didn't go. So they thought they was going to kill me. So they had called back over here. My parents was panicky, you know, and they was calling over in Israel to the Mona police and the American embassy, and wherever else they could call. And so when the sister and I came back from the post office, I went round to the wall where I usually sit. It was a wall in the back of the building where would lead like to the little stores they had around the area. And when they had right before they had put me out, remember I was telling you about I used to take care of the brother's baby. So he had told his wife that he didn't want me taking care of their baby anymore because I had to get myself together. So they stopped me from taking care of the baby. And I guess they thought I was going to come back crawling to them because this is what they want, this kind of a, you know, this kind of a submissive type person, you know. And I guess they thought I was going to come back and crawl and beg, you know, please let me take care of the baby, you know. And so, you know, I refused, you know. And so when they took the baby from me, and I used to go around, sit on the wall and go down to this little store and get ice cream. They had some of the best ice cream. And I used to go down there and get the ice cream and sit up on the wall and swing my leg, you know. So they got mad. They got angry. I mean, it's funny now, but when I think back on it, it was really traumatic, you know. He really got angry because he saw me sitting. This was Gabriel Godot. When he came by one day, I don't know where he was coming from. And I was just sitting on the wall eating ice cream and swinging my legs, you know, because they had freed me from taking care of their baby, you know, and I was confined with this little young baby. You see, you know, in the wintertime, it's hard to go out with a young baby, you know, and so I was confined like more or less in the house. So when they took the baby away, you know, I was free. You know, I could go out and go where I want to go. And so, like during the days when it's hot, I would go and get me some ice cream and sit up on the wall and swing my leg, you know. So that particular day he came by, he looked over that way at me, and I could see the expression on his face had changed. And I knew right then and there he was angry because I, you know, had the nerve to act, you know, independent and free, you know. So, so anyway, like I said, when I came back from the post office that day, they had put me out in the streets. And I came back, and I sat up on the wall. And at this particular time, I could no longer hold back the tears. I had to let them go. I had held them